Mr. Uppity by Roger Hargreaues. This is a story for Mr. Uppity, and now Mr. Uppity Fish's story. Not quite so uppity as for beginning of the story. You see, Miss Uppity was one of the rudest people in the world, if not the rudest. He was rude to everybody and everybody. So, off country is Big Town, which was where he lives. He has no friends at all, not one. Miserable old Uppity, they used to call him, and he exactly looked it. Now, as well as beginning rude, Miss Uppity was also rich, very rich, one of the richest people in the world, if not the richest. He has the longest limousine in Big Town. He has the longest garden in Big Town. And he has on the top of the hill, in the middle of Big Town, the most enormous house. The biggest house in Big Town. And there he lives, all alone, miserable old Uppity. One day, Mr. Uppity was walking in the gardens of his enormous house. No. Suddenly, he heard a little voice. "Hello," says the voice. Miss Uppity looked, and there, in the hundreds of flowers, bed was a goblin. "Ah, you going to say hello to me?" asked the goblin. "Go away," says Miss Uppity rudely. "Oh, I know who you must be," says the goblin. "You must be Mr. Uppity, who rude to everybody." Sniffed Miss Uppity rudely. "Well, I know somebody who wants to meet you," says the goblin. And skipped off the way goblins do. "Come on," he called over his shoulder. Miss Uppity cautious got the better of him. He followed. "Here there," says the goblin, pointing at a small hole in a tree. "Don't be silly," snorted Miss Uppity. And so... "Oh, I'm not being silly." "Yes," says the goblin. "Yes, you are," snapped Miss Uppity. "I can't see again there." Smiled the goblin. And then he is a magic, on the goblin, which sounds like broogly googly goo, or something like that. Suddenly, Miss Uppity starts shrinking. It shrank. And he shrank utterly. He was initially the same size as the goblin. "Turn me back to my normal size," asked once. Bellowed Miss Uppity in a ran. "Snatch!" grinned the goblin. And so saying, the goblin climbed through the hole into the trees. Poor Miss Uppity didn't know what to do, so he thought him inside the tree there was a staircase going down and down. "Do you where I lead to?" "Lead Ellen to the kingdom of the goblins." "There were?" "Again, to be taken immediately to water is a change," says Miss Uppity angrily. "Oh, are you sure? You sure?" grinned the goblin. And he lived Miss Uppity the streets of the kingdom, the goblins, until they came to a place. "Oh, it's rules gone," he cried, the goblin snick at the gate. "I have prowl, Miss Uppity," said the goblin. "Oh," said the gentleman and smiled. The goblin and Miss Uppity possibly through the gates and into a country and through some more gates, a long tower through some large gold doors and huge room. There sitting on a gold room was the king of the goblins, or Mashy, since the goblin. Bro alone, may I present Mr. Uppity? Ah, says the king, you were the fellow who got around being rude to Roger. Do have many friends? Nonsense, says Miss Uppity rudely. And I can't see that what I heard is true, says the king, looking it all at the panda Miss Uppity your world. Much to puff up it with our door, pen fair he could. I am at the follow you to be turned back to your proper size, but then you get back to big town if you rude to everybody. And anybody, you all will be in a plain shrink to the size you are. Do you understand? The glory that took Mr. Uppity back through kingdom of the goblins and up the staircase and out of the tree at the bottom of Miss Uppity garden. The goblin looked at Miss Uppity and said something which sounds like googly googly boo, or something which is probably googly googly goo, says backwards. And Miss Uppity grew and grew back to his initial size. Now you remember what the king says, Ward, the goblin. Don't be so uppity in the future. Mr. Uppity marched off proudly up to his enormous house. The following day, Mr. Uppity was out walking through the trees of Big Town. Suddenly he came across a little boy playing with a ball. Get out of my way, snaps Miss Uppity rudely. But as she said, you know what's happened, do you? Yes, Miss Uppity shrank until he was no bigger than the ball the boy was playing with. Oh dear, he gasped. I thought. I'm sorry, he said to the boy. What I meant to said, please can I have pass? No! Imagine Mr. Uppity grew to his initial size, and the boy moved and went on his way. Oh. Then he met an old lady carrying a large shopping basket. She was late for market. Excuse me, says to Miss Uppity. Could tell the time, please? No, says Miss Uppity rudely. But as he said, let you know what happened, do you? Yes, Miss Uppity shrank until easily have filled into the old lady's basket. Oh dear, he gasped. He thought. I'm sorry, he said to the old lady. What I meant to said was, it's 11:12. Until Miss Uppity grew to his normal size, the old lady thanks to him and went on his way. Then he went and bought a newspaper from a man standing off the corner of a main street in Big Town. He was just about to walk away. Suddenly he said, stop, and thought. He turned back to the man and said, thank you. Thank you was 2 words Miss Uppity had never used before. The man smiled, and smile was something Miss Uppity was used to get in. Then Miss Uppity was stopped by a man who asked him if he could teleport him away to the bank. Miss Uppity was about to say no when he thought yes, he said, and told the man. Thank you, says the man. Thank you were the words Miss Uppity not only had never used before, but would have never said to him before. Miss Uppity smiled. He felt happy. Happy was a feeling Miss Uppity wasn't used to feeling. He liked it. And do you know what? From this day forward to day backwards, Miss Uppity was a changed person. A silver richest person in Big Town, but perhaps the richest person in the world. Now he had lots of friends, and he smiled a lot, and never gets shrink feeling. And do you know what rich was Miss Uppity used most of the days? Please and thank you. Well, what we like to say was thank you to reading this story. And if you never think about being rude to somebody, please keep a sharp lookout for goblins.